Take this and get out of here, my mother-in-law yelled as she handed me the divorce papers. She thinks I'm just a housewife and has become really aggressive lately. I actually felt sorry for her. She's been fooled by my husband's lies. I took the papers, trying not to laugh, and left the house. I'm curious to see what happens next. Honestly, I'm kind of excited. Hi, I'm Laura, and I'm 27 years old. I started an online education business to help people learn skills so they can work from home. That's right. I'm the CEO. My team handles most of the work now, and I work at my own pace from home. I married Adam 3 years ago. He tells everyone he has a high-level job at a big company, but in reality, he's a contract worker doing small tasks. He also tells people I'm just a housewife. He says, even though she earns money, she doesn't do much, so it's the same as being a housewife. At home, he treats me like I don't work at all. He doesn't help with chores, even though I'm working too. But he doesn't get that. He once told me, out of respect for your husband, please forgive my little lie. Because of his lies, his mom treats me badly. She always says things like, why did our talented son marry someone without a job? She shows up at our house without warning and puts me down. I've tried to explain that I work and do chores, but she just laughs and says things like, you're just lounging around all day. Or, if you're going to lie, at least make it believable. I've talked to Adam about her surprise visits, but he just shrugs and says, don't take it seriously. She's just an old lady with too much time. He only gives $600 for our household each month and keeps the rest for himself. I pay the rent and add about $4,600 more, but we still struggle because he spends too much. Even though I'm the one holding everything together, he keeps lying to others, saying I don't work. He also doesn't stand up for me when his mom insults me. Even so, I haven't been able to make the final decision to divorce him because Adam once helped me. We were college classmates. Back then, I was bullied by a girl named Joyce. She hated that people thought I was better than her, even though I didn't try to show off. I think it's normal for someone who studies hard to be praised, but Joyce didn't see it that way. Because of her childish bullying, there was a time I didn't even want to go to college. But I managed to graduate thanks to Adam's support. He also helped me start my online school business when I was struggling with stress and overwork at my first job after college. He told me, why not do work that uses your strengths? You can do well on your own. Thanks to him, I now work freely, without being tied to an office or a schedule. I became who I am today because of Adam's support. That's why I've been trying to put up with him. I've thought about getting a divorce, but I wasn't sure if I could really go through with it. Then one day, I saw something shocking on social media. There was a post that said, my amazing boyfriend bought me the latest designer bag, along with a photo of the bag and a man's hand. The man was wearing a luxury watch, the same limited edition model I gave Adam. The person who posted it? I couldn't believe it. It looked like Joyce. We're not friends on social media, but because we have many mutual friends, her posts sometimes pop up in my feed. When I looked at more of her posts, I saw several photos that hinted she was with Adam. She definitely knows Adam and I are married. She's probably seen my posts too. Yet she still shared those photos. Was she trying to provoke me? Or just being careless? Either way, it felt like she was looking down on me. I had been thankful to Adam for everything he'd done, and I tried to be patient. But cheating? That was too much. I couldn't forgive that. That moment, I finally made up my mind. I contacted a private investigator to check on Adam. It didn't take long. They found clear proof. Adam had told me he was going to business school to become a full-time employee. But that was a lie. He wasn't attending any school. He was spending his time and my money with Joyce. I was shocked, but I didn't feel angry. I mostly felt disappointed and honestly relieved. I saw a way out. I secretly signed a lease for my own apartment and started moving my stuff bit by bit, getting ready to leave. Then, right before I was fully prepared, Adam said happily, I've been chosen to go to a company training camp next week. I'll be gone for a week. I knew the truth. He was planning a fancy trip with Joyce. Just another one of his lies. Still, he made it sound believable. Typical Adam. He's good at making things sound real. I calmly listened as Adam talked excitedly about how great the training camp would be. Time passed, and he happily left for his so-called work trip. I was just about to finish packing and complete my divorce plans when the doorbell rang. It was my mother-in-law, once again showing up without warning. "Look, Laura," she said through the intercom. "Adam gave me this as a present." She walked right in, proudly showing off the exact same luxury handbag I saw in Joyce's social media post. "This is the newest model," she bragged. "He gave it to me as thanks for always helping out." "So, what has Adam given you lately, Laura?" I had no choice but to answer. "Actually nothing." She laughed and said, "Of course not. You're living off Adam's money without doing anything. You don't deserve any gifts." She went on and on, happily talking about all the new appliances Adam bought her and how he paid for house renovations, all using the money I was putting into our household. Turns out, my money was being used on her and Joyce. But thankfully, I keep most of my income separate, so it didn't hurt me too much. I tried to ignore her, but she didn't like that. "Laura, are you even listening?" she snapped. I replied without thinking. "What do you mean?" Her face turned bright red. "How rude of you to ignore me," she shouted. Then, to my surprise, she pulled out a set of divorce papers from her bag, already filled out. "I never liked you. You've been living off Adam's money, while doing nothing. What kind of wife are you? You should be ashamed," she yelled, throwing a pen at me. "Sign this and divorce Adam right now. We don't need you. In fact, without you, we'll save money," she added, with a smug look. It was clear she'd been trying to get Adam to divorce me for a while. She probably came over just to pick a fight and get me to agree. I didn't expect her to bring the papers herself, though. "Hurry up and sign. Then get out," she demanded. I actually felt sorry for her. She didn't realize Adam had been lying to her all along, and now she was about to lose her golden goose. I quietly signed the papers, trying not to laugh. Then I packed my things and said, "Thanks for everything. I'll turn in these papers myself." I left the house while she stood there shocked, probably thinking I would beg her to let me stay. Instead, I walked out without looking back. One less problem in my life. I went straight to City Hall and filed the divorce papers, happily humming to myself. Then I moved into the luxury apartment I had secretly rented, worth $4 million. Adam and his mother never knew about it. Living alone felt amazing. No more dealing with Adam or his mother. I finally had time to focus on myself, and soon after, I started my own personal business. I was enjoying my new single life, but sadly, it didn't last long. Adam had come back from his trip with Joyce, the one he pretended was a work training camp. When he got home and realized I wasn't there, he called me. "Laura, where the hell are you? Whatever happened, just come back right now." "Why should I come back?" I said. "Your mom told me to leave, so I did what she wanted." "My mom? I told you to ignore her. Just come back. No more arguing." "No," I said. "I'm not coming back. We're divorced now. I'm not returning to a house that legally belongs to someone else." "What divorce?
What are you talking about?"
"Your mother gave me the divorce papers. I signed them and filed them at City Hall the day you left. It's already done. That divorce doesn't count. Just come back. There's only $600 left in our account. I can't live on that." "I'm not coming back," I said. "We're divorced. Your money problems aren't my concern anymore. If you want to talk in the future, go through my lawyer. The contact info is in my desk drawer." Then I hung up and turned off my phone. Adam kept trying to get me to come home, but I was curious to see what would happen next. A few days later, Adam's lawyer contacted me, asking for a formal meeting. When I arrived at the lawyer's office, I was surprised to see his mother there too. She glanced at the bag I was carrying and muttered, that bag, she had noticed mine was more expensive than the one she had shown off before. "You've got good taste, Mother," I said. "When you have money, it's nice to have something fancy. But anyway, why are you here?" She looked down without answering. Then Adam spoke up, looking ashamed. "My mom knows everything now, that I'm only a contract worker, that you run your own company, and that you were paying most of the household bills." He continued, "She gave you the divorce papers without my permission. I was wrong for lying. I regret it. I won't let her insult you anymore. Please come back and cancel the divorce. He sounded sorry, but it didn't feel real. I could tell he still didn't think he had done anything wrong. He just blamed everything on his mom. I'm sorry, I said. I'm not coming back. When I refused, Adam slammed the desk. It's thanks to me that you became a CEO. Don't you feel any gratitude? You're divorcing me for selfish reasons, so I want $2 million in compensation. That was his true self. The Adam I once loved was gone. All I saw now was a sad man chasing money. Adam, stop it. His mother tried to calm him down, but he wasn't listening. The lawyer looked uncomfortable as things got tense. When I got back home, Laura was gone. She had taken all her things and disappeared. The divorce papers were filled out without my permission by my mother, Adam said, pointing at me. Laura is the one who left her duties as a wife. She hurt both me and my mother emotionally. He looked at the lawyer, hoping for support. But the lawyer just sighed and pulled out a document. Laura has agreed to divorce quietly and not take this any further, the lawyer said tiredly. Adam looked shocked and couldn't say a word when he saw what the document contained. It clearly showed his affair with Joyce, including photos of him going in and out of hotels with her. I'm thankful for your support in the past when I started the company, I said, but I've repaid that debt. You used my money to live a fancy life, spoil your mother, and spend time with your girlfriend. I looked at him. I was surprised it was Joyce. How was your nice trip with the woman who bullied me in college? Adam looked pale and frozen, unable to speak. His mother, who had no idea about the affair, suddenly started shouting. What is this? What does all this mean? I ignored her and kept talking to Adam. If we finalize the divorce, I won't ask you for any damages or for the money you wasted. But I also won't give you anything. There will be no splitting of assets. His mother jumped in, upset. That's not fair, Laura. I already started fixing up our family home. I thought Adam was handling the money. I even bought new furniture and appliances.
He can't support himself like this.
Please don't go through with the divorce. Or at least help us with money. Her request was so unreasonable that even the lawyer was shocked. He took a deep breath. Madam, that's a bold request, or rather thoughtless. You have no right to interfere. Please be quiet. Then he looked at Adam and said, What do you want to do? If you keep pushing, we'll take legal action and ask for the money you wasted on your affair. And we'll also send this evidence to your company. I added, if your job finds out about this, it might cost you more than just your reputation. Adam slumped in his chair. I guess I have no choice. I'll agree to the divorce, he said in a weak voice. Adam, who was only a contract worker, loved pretending he was part of a big company. He used my money for luxury and cheated on me, and now risked losing his job if his secret got out. He agreed to the divorce only to protect his image. What about the home renovations? And the credit card bill is due, his mother asked, panicking. But Adam didn't answer. He stood up, walked out slowly, and left the lawyer's office. His mother ran after him. I stared at the door they left through, deep in thought. I sent the proof of Adam's affair to Joyce and asked her to pay for the damage she caused. Oops, you caught me. But Adam is mine now. I'll pay whatever it costs. He's a top guy at a big company, Joyce said, laughing without a bit of shame. Turns out, Adam had lied to Joyce too. He told our old college friends that I was the CEO, but Joyce didn't know that. When I explained the truth to her, the proud look on her face disappeared. At first, she didn't believe me. But once she realized I was telling the truth, she said, Wait, that means Adam tricked me. I'm the real victim here. You can't go after me. But facts are facts. She still had an affair with a married man. If you don't pay, I'll send all this proof to your job and your family, I told her. She paid the damages right away. My friends later told me that Joyce had a habit of getting involved with married men, and this wasn't the first time she had to pay someone. But what happens to her now is none of my business. Adam still sends me messages, asking for another chance. He couldn't afford rent and had to move back in with his family. He and his mother had a hard time adjusting to a simpler lifestyle. On top of their old debts, they borrowed more money and quickly fell into a financial mess. Adam was exhausted from working full-time plus part-time jobs, and people said he kept making mistakes at work. One day, he sent me a message that made me laugh. "I finally understand how much I need you, Laura. I won't mess up again. Let's support each other from now on." But during our marriage, I never felt any support from him. So, to say we should support each other now? That made no sense. I had my lawyer warn him that if he contacted me again, we'd send the affair evidence to his company. After that, the messages stopped. Now, I'm working happily and growing my business. I have no plans to remarry for a while. I just want to enjoy my single life. I was shocked to hear such cold words. It made me question if she had any kindness left in her heart. Let me take you back 21 years. My name is Emma, and I have a sister named Rachel. We lost our parents in a tragic accident shortly after I was born. I never got to know them. I've only seen their faces in old photos. After our parents passed away, our grandparents, our mother's parents, took us in. They gave us lots of love and raised us with care. But Rachel was never happy being raised by them. By the time she got to junior high, Rachel became rebellious and difficult. Our grandparents had to apologize to others again and again because of her behavior. She didn't appreciate their kindness and even told them not to come to her school events ever again. Eventually, after she finished college, Rachel left home without saying thank you. She even took money from our grandfather and walked away like it meant nothing. I, on the other hand, felt I should repay our grandparents, not just for what they did for me, but for Rachel too. After I graduated from college, I chose to stay with them. I looked for a local job, so I could be close and take care of them in return for all they had done. Since Rachel left, many years passed. Life became peaceful with just me and our grandparents. But then, that peace was suddenly broken. Grandma was diagnosed with cancer. The doctors said she didn't have much time left. Hearing that, I couldn't stop crying. But Grandma gently comforted me. "Emma, you're so kind. Your tears mean a lot to me," she said. "But I've lived a long life." She had always been so kind to both Rachel and me. Hearing her words gave me strength. I promised myself I'd take care of her until the very end. Even though Rachel had cut us off, I felt she should know about Grandma's illness. I emailed her, hoping she would at least reply, maybe even come visit. But there was nothing. No message, no visit. Grandma's health got worse quickly. I knew the end was near. Still, I stayed strong in front of her, smiling and caring for her with Grandpa, even though it hurt inside. Even though Rachel ignored us, I kept sending her emails every day. Grandma still loved her deeply, no matter what. I hoped Rachel would show up, so Grandma could see her again, just once. Then one day, after many silent days, the doorbell rang. I opened the door, and there stood Rachel. I was surprised, and beside her was a man I didn't recognize. He was flashy and loud, clearly not someone we knew. Noticing my confused face, Rachel pointed at him with an annoyed look and said, bluntly, "I got married." "This is my husband, Tyler," Rachel said with a short greeting. Then, without waiting for an invitation, she and Tyler walked right into the house like they owned it. Grandpa was relaxing in the living room when he saw Rachel after so many years. He looked shocked and said, "Rachel, you're back." Rachel sat down on the sofa and said in a rude tone, "So, how much is Grandma's inheritance?" I was so surprised I couldn't stay quiet. I had thought she came to see Grandma, but she clearly only cared about the money. "How much is it exactly?" Rachel asked again. Tyler, sitting next to her, looked at Grandpa and said, "Hey, Grandpa, I'm thirsty," clearly expecting someone to serve him. I was disgusted by how selfish they both were. I shook my head and said, "I don't know how much it is. And besides, it's rude to talk about inheritance when Grandma is still alive and fighting for her life." Rachel just scoffed and said, "Come on, Emma. You know Grandma is rich. If we don't get things sorted while she's alive, we might not get anything at all." It was true. Grandma came from a well-known and wealthy family. Her father, our great-grandfather, had run a successful business. Even though Grandma didn't take over the company, she learned a lot about business from a young age. After she married Grandpa, they started a company together and built a fortune worth millions. Now, Rachel and Tyler were after that fortune. I can't believe this. You came back just for the money? I asked. Of course, Rachel replied without shame. And why not? I'm the favorite grandchild. It's only fair that they thank me by giving me some of that money. Oh, and I'm pregnant. If Grandma dies soon, we'll inherit everything, and her great-grandchild will too. She'd be happy about that, right?
What are you saying?
Grandma is right in the next room, I said. The old study room had been turned into a care room for Grandma since she couldn't move around easily anymore. She could probably hear everything we were saying. I looked at Rachel and said firmly, "Stop talking about money. That's enough." But Rachel just laughed in a mean way and shouted even louder, "Hey, Grandma, can you hear me? Just go already so I can get the inheritance." That was the final straw. "Get out," I yelled, grabbing Rachel and Tyler by their arms. With all my strength, I dragged them to the door and threw them out. They barely resisted. "Don't ever come back to this house again," I shouted. "You're being selfish." "I only came because you told me to," Rachel mocked. I was so angry, I could feel steam coming off my head. I shouted back, "If you're going to say such awful things to Grandma and Grandpa, I wish you had never come. You forgot all the kindness they showed you and spoke to them so cruelly. You're the worst." I slammed the door shut and started crying in frustration. Just then, Grandpa came over holding some juice. He had gone to get it after Tyler asked for a drink. He saw me crying and asked gently, "Are you okay?" I told him everything Rachel and Tyler had said and done. Grandpa stood quietly for a moment, thinking. Then he gave me a warm smile and said, "Don't worry. Grandpa will take care of it." He handed me the juice and walked away calmly. Time passed, and after a long fight with her illness, Grandma peacefully passed away. Seeing her resting with a calm expression made me feel a little better. It was like she was finally free from the pain of cancer. I gently spoke to her as she lay still. "You did your best, Grandma. Thank you for everything." After the funeral, I returned home and found Rachel and Tyler waiting for me. I had emailed them about Grandma's passing, but they didn't come to the funeral. When I asked Rachel why they showed up now, she replied just as I expected. "We came to talk about the money, of course. We need to discuss Grandma's will." We went inside. I didn't feel right talking about money so soon after Grandma's death, but Rachel and Tyler clearly didn't care. They just wanted to get their hands on the inheritance as soon as possible. With a big smile, Rachel pulled a paper out of an envelope. "Look at this. It's Grandma's will," she said proudly. I gasped. There it was, handwritten in what looked like Grandma's writing. But what shocked me most was the content. The will said that everything, including the company, would go to Rachel. I couldn't believe it. On the day Rachel visited, Grandma had heard her hurtful words and cried alone in her room. I still remembered Grandma saying in a sad voice, "Rachel only sees me as someone who has money." And yet this will gave everything to Rachel? I started to shake and quietly said, "Is this some kind of joke?" Tyler laughed and said, "Judging by your face, you were after the inheritance too, weren't you? This is funny." "I don't care about the inheritance," I said firmly. "I just can't believe Grandma would write something like this." I stared at the will, unable to believe what I was seeing. Tyler mocked me, saying, "Don't act like you're so perfect." Rachel added with a smirk, "She's always been like this. Last time we were kicked out, but now this house, Grandma's company, and everything else will be mine. So, it's your turn to leave. Grandpa can't stay here either, so take him and go." As she said that, she grabbed my arm and started pulling me toward the door. I was filled with anger. When Grandma was still alive and feeling lonely, Rachel didn't even visit. Then, when she finally did come, she said she hoped Grandma would pass away quickly. And now she wanted to take everything for herself? I couldn't take it anymore. "Stop it," I shouted. Just then the doorbell rang. Rachel was startled and loosened her grip. I pulled away and looked toward the door. Through the frosted glass, I saw someone standing there. When I opened the door, I saw Mr. Eric, the lawyer. He had visited many times before to help with legal matters for Grandma and Grandpa's company. "Sorry I'm late," Mr. Eric said as he stepped in. Grandpa, who had been making coffee, greeted him warmly.
"We've been waiting," Grandpa said.
"Let's talk about the will." But Rachel cut in, holding up the will she brought. "There's nothing to talk about. It's written right here. I get everything, including the company and Grandma's money. The money has already been deposited, and I've even withdrawn some of it." She looked very proud of herself. But Grandpa stayed calm and smiled gently. "There's still something we need to talk about, Rachel," he said. "You no longer have the right to inherit anything." "What?" Rachel looked shocked, and honestly, I was confused too. That's when Mr. Eric took out a USB drive and plugged it into his laptop. He placed it on the small cabinet near the door. Then a voice recording started to play. It was Grandma's voice, along with Rachel's and Tyler's. "Come on, hurry up and write the will, Grandma," Rachel said on the recording. "Write that you're leaving everything to us. If you don't, things will get messy."
"Got it."
As the recording played, it became clear that Rachel and Tyler had pressured Grandma into writing the will. Mr. Eric stopped the recording and explained, "A will made under pressure or threats is not valid. According to the law, this will has no legal value." He pointed directly at the will Rachel was holding. Still shocked, I asked, "When did you prepare all of this?" Grandpa gently explained, "While you were out, Rachel and Tyler came here and forced Grandma to write that will. But we were ready. I was the one who set up the voice recorder," Grandpa said with a calm smile. Rachel began to panic and mumbled, "But Grandma had me sign some documents too." Grandpa chuckled. "Rachel, you really don't understand anything, do you? Did you even read the fine print? What you signed wasn't part of a will, it was a credit card loan application." Grandma was shocked at how easily you signed it. "What?" Rachel gasped. "Yes," Grandpa said calmly. "The $230,000 you took out from the bank? That's debt, not inheritance." Rachel quickly pulled out her phone and checked her bank account. "I don't believe this. My account is in the negative," she muttered, her face turning pale. Tyler wasn't any better. "What do you mean debt? What are we going to do?" he said in a panic. "I thought we were getting the inheritance. I already took out loans for a new house and car. This has to be a joke." "Calm down, Tyler," Mr. Eric said. Rachel turned to him in desperation. "Mr. Eric, I'm Grandma's granddaughter. Even if the inheritance isn't much, I should still get something, right?" Mr. Eric replied, "That's exactly what I came here to talk about." He pulled out a white envelope. "This is Grandma's real will, legally written and notarized. I'll read it now." Rachel and Tyler pressed their hands together like they were praying. But the will didn't mention Rachel at all. The company was left to Grandpa. Everything else, money and property, was to be shared between Grandpa and me. Rachel cried out, "Why can't we fix this? Can't we change it somehow?" But Mr. Eric answered firmly, "There's nothing that can be done. Legally, you had the right to inherit, but you lost that right by threatening and pressuring Grandma." Rachel looked at Grandpa. "Can't we do something?" Grandpa gave her a dry smile and said, "No, there's nothing you can do. You heartless old man." Rachel shouted before storming out of the house alone. Tyler, who was left behind, quickly ran after her. "Wait for me," he called. He looked so pitiful. Later, I heard that Rachel and Tyler had a baby. But because of all the debt they had taken on, they couldn't afford to take proper time off and had to go back to work right away. They had expected to get a big inheritance before Grandma passed away and spent money they didn't have. In the end, they had to sell the expensive house and luxury car they had bought on loans. All that was left was a mountain of debt and the struggle of paying it back. Eventually, they came to Grandpa begging for help, but he refused. The stress from their money problems affected their relationship, and in the end, Rachel and Tyler got divorced. I heard that Tyler went back to live with his parents, and Rachel tried to return to this house, but I firmly told her no. "This house belongs to me," I said. "Grandma left it to me, and I won't let you live here without my permission." There were even rumors that Rachel was now homeless and living under a bridge because she had no money. But honestly, I don't know where she is or how she's really doing. She asked me for help many times, but I kept saying no. I couldn't afford to support her, and I didn't want to. The truth is, I had already donated the inheritance I got from Grandma to a children's home. Since Rachel and I lost our parents when we were very young, I always felt a deep connection to orphans. If our grandparents hadn't taken us in, we might have ended up in a place like that. So, I wanted to give back and help kids in that situation have a better life. When Rachel asked for help, I told her about the donation. She was shocked and said, "You should help your own family first." But remembering how she treated our grandparents, I had no reason or desire to help her.
Time passed.
I got married and had children. Grandpa was happy to see me doing well. He passed away peacefully, without pain. Losing him left a hole in my heart. But thanks to my loving husband and family, I was able to move forward. Now, I carry on my grandparents' legacy. I run the company they started and raise my children with love and care. Life isn't always easy, but I try to live in a way that would make them proud, watching over me from heaven.